Good morning. Breakfast is the broker every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Hey, we're getting a little early start because we've had our coffee and we're moving forward. And we have a real exciting guest. I think you're going to really love him. All right. Now, by way of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, he is a Canadian. Hey, he is the broker owner of RE/MAX Experience. He is the chair of the Realtor Political Action Committee and the treasurer at the Broward, Palm Beach, and St. Lucie Realtors Association. He loves his Buffalo Bills. He likes cold beer, nice bourbon, and long walks on the beach. You will find him on a boat when he is not trying to take over the world. He is Chris Krzemien.
Wow, that's quite the introduction.
Good
morning. Morning. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. So, listen, I really appreciate you coming on. And, a lot of viewers, look at it and they look at the Realtors Associations and certainly the associations and National Association of Realtors and all these different organizations where we're kind of governed by, been a little bit under attack and things of that nature. Why are we involved in the association?
Because if we don't do it, who else is going to do it? Somebody's got to watch out for us, right?
It's simple, but it really is true. But, when you're getting involved in the association in a leadership capacity, what made you take that first leap?
I had somebody ask me to get involved in the association. And at the time, it was, it was kind of scary thinking about serving on a committee. I had never done that before. And once I sat on that first committee and realized how welcoming everyone was, it was kind of addictive. So I went from the MLS committee to the grievance committee to professional standards, and it just people kept asking me to do a little bit more, and my role kept changing. But it's incredibly important. You learn so much when you get involved with committee service and really see what the association's all about. And it's completely member centric. I mean, we're there driving the association forward. So once you realize how important your roles are serving on those committees, it really pushes you to get involved at a higher level and really make sure that you've sort of taken the bull by the horns, and you see where the association's going, and I think it drives you to get involved a little bit more. So that way you really have your hand in exactly what's happening day to day.
No, I mean, agreed. When you're looking at, people say, all right, well, top producers and people that are, doing a lot of business, they don't have time for this, or they don't have involvement in the board or whatnot because, they're busy listing and selling houses. And,
Sure.
Listen, when you look at money, right? I mean, money really has, no really value, intrinsic value. It's a piece of paper, right? It's just backed by, so when you can buy things obviously with it and such, but when you're looking at it, I mean, we're in this business to make a difference. I mean, to really make an impact.
Right.
And what better way to make an impact is to have a seat at the table, to be talking to the leaders, to be helping to make and facilitate these decisions.
100%.
And I look at you and a lot of the other mentors and colleagues that I have, and it's really about kind of perpetuating what our professionalism is, and perpetuating what really the realtor brand means, because to consumers, that often is different. That perception of what a realtor is because they've dealt with maybe realtors, that are maybe not as professional. So, as a consumer, I would think that you would want to actually look for someone who is involved in the association. It may actually increase your business, not decrease it.
Right. I agree more. I mean, it really, when you, like you just said, speaking about the money aspect of things, do what you love, the money will follow, kind of thing. And when you're a realtor, it's not really about the money. I mean, you're in business and you're helping people realize the dream of home ownership. It's absolutely completely an incredible opportunity that you have as a person just to help your neighbor, to help somebody go through the home buying and selling process, and to help them realize their dream of home ownership. It's an incredible feeling.
So you mean we have to increase the consumer experience? We have to help the buyer experience. There's
Right.
obviously all this craziness, going on in the data world, and portals coming left and right, and companies buying companies, and all these different brands trying to put their best chest forward, kind of, sort of speak.
Right.
And they're all pounding on their chest, and I'm number one, and I'm going to do this, whatever. And the real thing is, and I think you made a good point, is that it's all about the consumer. It's all about the buyer, the seller. It's all about helping. If your heart is in the right place, like you said, money will follow.
Right.
So, actually, we have a question. So, Rita Bove said, review some ways you can build trust and confidence. Chris, what are some ways that you can build trust and confidence with a consumer?
Gosh, really just listen to them. Build trust and confidence. Show them who you are. Show them the real side of you. Let them know what drives you. To show them what your passions are. Really listen to the consumer. Make sure that they understand that you're there for them. That you're not there to sell them a house. You're there to make sure that they're investing in a lifestyle that really fits their needs. And the only way to really do that is to listen to them. Don't try to show them things that you like. Don't try to walk them into a house that you think they should be buying. Listen to what their needs are, and make sure that that home that you're showing them is, you're really introducing them into the lifestyle that they've just told you that they're, dreaming about.
I mean, you got to listen to Jimmy and hear Jimmy. And one of my favorite movies, White Men Can't Jump. Yeah, no, it's, the funny thing is, I was speaking to buyers from out of town, as all of us have been doing in South Florida for a while. And, the buyers said, listen, you're the first realtor that came across. I've had 3 others that actually listened to me and sent me the listings that I wanted to see. And really it's about building relationships. But, the first step is you can't build trust and confidence through one, conversation. There's a period of time where you're continually building trust. I mean, there are some people that I've been working with for 7 years. Do they trust and are they confident? Yeah, they are. But, have we built it to a point where we've actually consummated a sale, where they've gotten the house that their dreams? Not yet. So I think that's like the, maybe culmination of what the trust and confidence goes through. And then, don't make it a funeral. Don't make it like, hey, I'm never going to see you again.
Right.
Make sure that you're there as a resource.
Right.
That's what the Realtor brand does.
And another thing that I think is important in this day and age. I mean, everybody starts their search online. They're looking for the best in the business, and that doesn't necessarily mean that the best in the business is going to be that person that's has 100 home sales under their belt this year. It could be it could be somebody who really takes the time, obviously, like I said, to build that trust and confidence with their client. But because everybody is starting their search online, they're also starting their search for a realtor online. So you've got to make sure that you've got reviews that are out there, because the consumer is going to want to see who have you worked with in the past, what was their experience with you. That's the first thing that I do when I am going to take on any kind of service or hire anybody to do any kind of job. I'm always starting online to find out what their reviews look like. So that's incredibly important for a realtor, to make sure that they have an online presence.
Yeah, and and reviews is a good thing. When you're looking at reviews, don't just put it on one site or one portal. It should be on many sites. And they don't need to be duplicate. You could alternate them. You can ask for 2 or 3 reviews from different sites from one customer, so that you could see them all the way through. We've used Google a lot more over the last couple of years, because that's typically where you go to search for a realtor. That's where you go to search for a home. That's, if you're not sure what sites to use, you Google, Boca Raton or Fort Lauderdale homes or whatever it may be. And then that's what comes up, right? Either realtor sites or, company sites or whatnot. So, yeah. Talking about, the association, the Realtor Political Action Committee, and I think, it's difficult to kind of understand what the Realtor Political Action Committee does because it's many, many levels, right? And, tell us a little bit about, being a realtor and what it means to have, these pins that you and I are wearing. What does it mean? How does that make us feel? I'll let you speak for me.
Well, you know what? You're proud to have these things, especially after seeing, all the good that we do and how important our investments are back into our profession. And I think that's another important thing, even for a consumer. Ask your realtor, how much have you invested into your profession? Where do those investments go? It's important. We're not only advocating for our profession, we're advocating for our homeowners, for home ownership rights, for private property rights, for the environment, for clean water. I mean, it's absolutely incredible what those RPAC dollars actually achieve. So for anybody who doesn't know, the RPAC, the Realtor Political Action Committee, has nothing to do with partisanship. It's not Democrat, it's not Republican. We call ourselves the Purple Party. Really, it's all about making sure that we're using our collective voice to put those realtor champions in office and make sure that there's somebody there to protect our profession and to protect our homeowners. Thinking about like a city wanting to nix vacation rentals, or think about the beginning of the pandemic when real estate was not included as an essential service. Anybody who made $1 in real estate or helped somebody get into their home, can really thank the realtor party for all of that, because it was that was our ability to keep doing what we're doing. I mean, being able to call those legislators and say, hey, you know what? This is really important for us to remain in business during this pandemic, because if people are going to be locked down, they're going to need a home to be locked down in. You've got people who were waiting for a closing to happen. Title companies weren't allowed to operate when the pandemic hit, and they put everything in lockdown. So you had people who were between homes that may have been living in a hotel waiting for their title company to finish up the work and put them into their property. Those people were not able to move until we got the ball rolling and called those elected officials and said, hey, you've got to allow us to keep operating and make sure that these people have homes to be locked down in. It was an incredibly important time for us. And those investments that people made, and the reason that we wear these pins is because we're invested in our profession. It was really our collective voice that made all this happen and made the incredible real estate market that we've had in 2020. I mean, a lot of people made a lot of money, and I'm not talking about realtors. I'm talking about homeowners. Even right now, I mean, the market is absolutely insane. There's nothing to sell out there. I have friends of mine who are looking for a property, and there's literally nothing for them to buy. So there's a lot of people out there making a lot of money. If anybody's out there looking to sell a house, I mean, call a realtor right now, because we've got buyers ready to go.
It's so true. And, we talk about the homeowners, right? And we talk about the realtors, and, but just think about how it trickles down, right? So you have the realtor party advocating on our behalf as well as homeowners' behalf, right, to be an essential service. But what does that do? Well, a realtor goes ahead and sells a home, right? Well, that homeowner probably needs a pest control company, probably needs a contractor, probably needs a painter, right? So now we're helping not just 1 or 2 or 10, we're helping hundreds of companies survive through this pandemic.
Right.
And when you're investing in your profession, and I implore consumers that are watching this to ask your realtor whether or not they are a major investor, or whether or not they invest in the Realtor Political Action Committee or invest in their profession. Because if they don't, that's probably not the realtor you want to use. And the only reason why I say that is because, if they don't see the value, especially in 2021 and in 2020, through a pandemic, I don't know what clearer direction it could be. So a major investor is $1,000 a year, and it goes up from levels from there. But I mean, for $1,000 a year, that's 83.33 a month. And I sound like an infomercial, but I mean, it's just Mark Novio. It's just yeah. Every time, the funny thing is every time I hear RPAC, I hear Yaz's voice, RPAC, like the Aflac commercial. But, it really is important to invest back in your profession, which helps all different types of companies. I mean, look at the estoppel fee. We got the estoppel fee capped at $250. The business rent tax. We're the only state in the entire country that has a tax on commercial leasing, and we're
chipping away at that.
Yeah, we're chipping away at it. Absolutely. So, I agree. I mean, I think that it's so important to invest back in your profession. And what how does a realtor that is watching this, how would they get started? Like, because it's not just local that we have people watching from all different countries even.
I mean, best thing to do is reach out to their local government affairs directors and get that RPAC link and send it out to all your friends. Let them know what's going on. Let them know about RPAC. Encourage them to invest back in their profession. It really is. I mean, we're talking, this is national. We're talking about whether it be state representatives or on the federal platform. It's from your local your local city commissioner all the way up to the president's office. So I mean, get involved in your profession, invest back in your profession. Definitely give to RPAC. I mean, that's huge. You're talking about $1,000 a year. It's not going to break the bank, but if you think about it's going to keep us in business and help our neighbors out and help build our communities. There's no better way to spend your money, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it goes back to Rita's question. How do you build trust and confidence? Well, that's your first step.
Right.
If you're a major investor and you're giving back to your profession, that certainly is a big deal. And I would encourage people to get on the RPAC committee. If you're not ready to pay, to invest $1,000 and you just want to see what RPAC does and how it, the intricacies behind, what they do. Volunteer to be on that RPAC committee, because in most associations, that RPAC committee welcomes, a lot of members. So certainly look into that as well. All right, let's talk about the real estate market. We touched on it a little bit. I saw the stat is inventory is dwindling. I think we dwindled by 50% in single family homes, both in Broward and Palm Beach County. What are we going to do here? How are we getting inventory? Where does the market go from here?
Gosh, I don't see any signs of this market stopping whatsoever. I don't know where we're going to get inventory from. I mean, I'm talking specifically here in Florida. The real estate is so localized, but here in South Florida, it seems like everybody in the country wants to move here. I was just looking the other day at the Weather Network, and it just showed like the entire country. Didn't matter where you were, everybody was freezing, and we were 76 and sunny. Who doesn't want to live in Florida? We've got no state income tax. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. The only thing that we don't have more of is land, and without anybody selling their house and moving out, which, I mean, God, why would you want to leave South Florida? So we've got a severe lack of inventory here, and that's what's really driving the market and driving prices. I think we went from 3.8 months of inventory down to just under 2 months of inventory. Houses are selling 2-3 weeks quicker than they were before. The list price to sale price is in the high 90s. It's absolutely insane.
It's like 108%.
Yeah. Like everything is in 30 off.
It's, I mean, it really is, it is crazy. And you certainly see, anytime you put a listing that's, priced just a little bit above right, it's just, I saw someone get 70 showings in one day. Like, how is that even possible?
Yep.
Like, what do you have, 18 people in there? That's not COVID protocol, by the way.
It's happening.
But yeah, I mean, what I've been saying is too, the South Florida market really, really does, it's always been kind of powered. Maybe 25 to 30% of the market was international, right? So we always had this international I mean, obviously, with all the lockdowns and the border shutdowns, we've had very, very few international sales. So this is all powered by domestic demand.
Right.
What happens when they open the borders and open up the lockdowns, for Europe, South America, I mean, Canada, obviously Canada.
Right.
I mean, oh my, they've been sitting in, 20 below weather up in Canada, for a couple months now. And they're like, I'm out of here. So, I think you're going to, there's going to be even a little bit more demand, even if the domestic demand subsides a little bit based on the affordability, because we do have, right now, I think we're bordering on affordability crisis, because, where you have our, average salary, in Boca Raton or in Fort Lauderdale in these areas, I mean, you got to have 18 jobs like to support, because a single family home, I mean, for 600,000-700,000, first of all, it's very difficult to get, because you're going to be competing with a lot of people. But not only that, it's not that special. It's a couple thousand square feet, it's crazy.
Yeah, you're right. We do have an affordability crisis. I mean, I think in Broward County, it's absolutely incredible what's happening here in the lack of affordable housing that we have. I actually sit on the Broward Housing Council, and I mean, we talk about this. We talk about this on a regular basis. And going back to RPAC, that's another one of our fights. Ever since I've been involved, it's year after year after year. We're talking about the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, and lobbying up in Tallahassee, trying to combat this. But I don't know what the solution is going to be. I mean, people have racked their brains for years trying to figure it out. With the amount of demand that we have here for housing, and the prices just keep going up and up. I mean, how do you fix that? How do you provide more affordable housing, especially with the lack of land that we have here? How are you going to encourage a builder to build affordable housing units? I mean, it's a struggle, something that we're certainly working on year after year. Like I said, if anybody has any ideas, pop them up in the chat.
Yeah, exactly. Well, also, we talk about the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, which used to be the Sadowski Trust Fund, and they were basically repurposing, as they say, those monies in that Sadowski fund. Were actually, they were pilfering it, but and they were using it for other things, and the Realtor Political Action Committee and the lobbyists, kept calling, like, listen, you can't do this. Like, we need, these grants, and we need these down payment assistance programs, like the SHIP programs and those kind of things in these municipalities to help these people, afford homes. I mean, because, if, homeownership is a dream for everyone, like, and it should be, attainable, so, I certainly think in the affordable housing sector, we certainly need to do more.
Agreed.
So I always end the conversation, and thank you for coming on this morning. I always end the conversation on two questions. Okay. One is, what's your favorite streaming series that you've ever watched? And what are you currently watching?
Currently watching nothing. I watch absolutely no TV.
Oh,
But
awesome.
yeah, the let's say streaming show that I just finished a whole season of when I had time during the pandemic was Bloodline, and it's all filmed down in the Keys. It was a really cool show.
So what do you have a book recommendation then?
One that I just picked up, actually, Fat, Heat, Acid, Salt. It's a cookbook, but actually, yeah, believe it or not, cookbook, but not like a cookbook that's full of recipes. It's a cookbook that like talks about the reason that you're doing something, the reason that you're salting something, the reason that you're using acid and things like that. So I thought it was sort of a cool concept, and I was never a big cook, which now has started to change because I'm trying to eat a lot healthier. So yeah, I actually picked that up so that I could figure out exactly what I'm doing with food.
It sounded like Breaking Bad, like how to put together crystal meth.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. Like salt, acid. Just kidding. I don't know how to do that. Chris, I really appreciate you coming on. Chris Krzemien, he is the broker owner of RE/MAX Experience. He is your Realtor Political Action Committee chair, as well as the treasurer for the Broward, Palm Beach, and St. Lucie Realtors Association. And we certainly appreciate you coming on, sharing your thoughts on why invest in the Realtor Political Action Committee, where the market's going, in South Florida and certainly in Broward County, and how to build trust and confidence, as Rita said. So thank you so much. And we will see you next Tuesday on Breakfast with the Broker at 9 a.m. Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.